Is there a Valerie Cherish moment from your own life?
I had a meeting early on in my career with an agent, and the agent said something so inappropriate. And he just said, it's funny. I can remember my first car, and I can't remember the first girl I slept with. And I wasn't even taking in just how inappropriate that was, or I was, but I just drilled down to facts and said, well, sure. I mean, you spent a lot more time inside your first car. And he went, oh, that's great. Did Robin Schiff write that? And I just said, no, I just said it. Didn't you recognize my voice?
Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to a new episode of Obsessed the Podcast, where we talk about all the TV shows, movies, and celebrity nonsense that we think is unmissable. And today is another episode of our rewatch of The Comeback. I'm here with my co-host, Dan Bukatinsky. And Dan,
Hey.
Tell the people who we are talking to today.
I am so excited that today we are being joined by Valerie Cherish herself, my good friend, Lisa Kudrow.
Yes, it's going to be so much fun. We're going to talk about, I think, two of the most iconic scenes, not just of the series, but in my mind of recent comedy just in general. She's going to give us all the behind-the-scenes scoop on it, all the surprising stories, and just what it was like to be a part of what I consider to be TV history.
Yeah, I know. I mean, who better to talk to us about season 1 and season 2 from the point of view of Valerie than Lisa?
Yes, and you're going to want to go back to HBO Max and rewatch these episodes immediately, either before or after watching this. We've been saying this whole time. There's a treasure trove of comedy genius waiting for you to stream seasons 1 and 2 right before season 3 starts next month. Or actually this month. Oh my gosh, time has flown. It's March now.
March 22nd on HBO, we premiere season 3. So catch up on season 1 and season 2, which are currently all the episodes, all the juicy, fantastic episodes are on HBO Max.
Yes. And now get excited because here is our conversation with Lisa Kudrow. Hello, Lisa Kudrow.
Hi.
Hi. Dan and I are so excited that you're joining us for this comeback rewatch nonsense bonanza fun that we're having here.
Yeah, no, it's been great. I've been listening and watching, I guess, too. Yeah. Hi, Dan.
Hi, it's so fun to go back. Well, it's fun to see you always in the present, but it's also been fun to be watching deep dive into season 1 and season 2. It's hard to imagine that much time has passed. But God, the show, I hate to say it, it's so good. And last night I was watching them all again, and it's such a thrill to be able to go back and talk about it, because I don't think we talked about it really. We watched it and then we forgot about it.
Yeah, kinda.
Yeah.
Kinda.
I mean, I rewatched before starting to write the latest season we did. So, yeah, but still, I mean, and I rewatched this weekend a couple episodes, to talk to you about it. I don't remember I remember one or two things that stick out to me about the episodes, and then oh, this was in that episode? Oh, that episode? Okay, yeah, every time I'm just, oh.
Yeah.
I have to confess to the both of you, I was this close to buying a Cupcake costume to wear for this taping.
Oh,
But then
what
I was
happened?
like, we don't have the budget for that would have just been silly. But
Yeah.
something like that, Val and the Cupcake, it was at this point 20 years ago. And my God, is still it's a meme. It's just lasted for 2 decades, this amazing moment from the show.
Yeah, I don't know what to say. I mean, that made a statement that Cupcake outfit, and then falling down, and then finally punching Paulie G in a cupcake, and then vomiting in a big giant cupcake. It was everything.
Yeah.
Listen, that's season 1, and it's already far enough into the season where the tension between Paulie G and Valerie, and the writing of that show, and what Valerie's expectations or hopes would be for where she would be on that show and her relationship with the showrunners. And boy, it really comes to a head in that episode. I had completely forgotten that Tom Peterman, Robert Bagnall, hands you those pages about a really funny closer to that episode. And it's so exciting. And then he says, I have ulcers and I'm not going to be here. So
Right.
if you have any problems, you'll be dealing with Paulie G.
Just Paulie G, which drives her to go see Jimmy.
I know. No, I had completely forgotten that like what sort of triggers it all is like the desire to have a big comedic physical comedy moment, but then Tom Peterman's not going to be there. So if you have any issues, it's just Paulie.
Yeah, she'll be there with the guy running it is not a fan. And that drives her to go see Jimmy, who's busy, and says, all right, well, fall backward. No, we'll fall forward. I think that's better. Like she goes to get his advice. I just love, and
I do too.
Doesn't like what Jimmy has to say. It's like, well, he doesn't know everything. But what she's really going to ask him for is like, so it just has to be good because it's just Paulie G. What do I do?
Yeah, and he really feels for her in the moment too, because she can't. What I love about the show is as funny as it is and as entertaining it is, it's so painful to watch. Valerie can't get a win, and this is a great episode to exemplify that, where she gets handed this scene, and that's so exciting for her. And then the first hit is that, of course, it's just gonna be Paulie G.
Yeah.
And then the set rig isn't working, and so the audience is dismissed, and that destroys her because she needs to know if it's working. She needs to hear the laughs. And then there's the rod in her back that makes falling really hard for her. So she just can't get a win.
No, but also, she's not the one demanding a scene. It's not her. It's the reality show that dictates she can't just have 3 lines in the show, because that is the companion piece to, it is part of Room and Board has an obligation to the reality show, which was just part of, in 2004, 2005, reality looked like it was about to mean the end of scripted television altogether. And just to see like how potentially reality TV could so directly impact what scripted television there was, just in case a studio or network in this case is panicked enough to not just have a scripted show, but let's get a companion, reality show in there too. So there's that part of it that activates Paulie G, and you have the Tom, the Tom Peterman showrunner who's a little more, but we gotta go along to get along. So, okay, let's write it. And then she goes to see Jimmy, who says, Paulie G, blood from a stone.
Right, he does.
It's blood from a stone. And she decides what he means by that is not capable. Okay. Not capable. It's like, no, he hates you. He hates what you represent. He hates the reality show. And all she hears is, not capable. Okay. Like nothing to do with me.
Yeah.
That's not what Jimmy was trying to gently say.
No.
But that's her creating her own reality again. Just want it to be good. Show Paulie, it's okay. I can be, I can be funny. I can be good.
Honey, blood from a stone.
What?
Blood from a stone.
Yeah. Incapable. Yeah. Yeah. No, I understand. Well, still, I want it to be good, so I'd love to.
The audience will laugh, and you'll go to that place you go. You'll be fine.
You think?
You're a giant cupcake.
That's true. Yeah.
Well, I'll see you. You're going to be great.
Thank you.
Okay.
All right. Thanks, Jimmy.
And if you can, fall backwards. It's always funny.
Yeah, that's good. I was thinking I'd fall forward.
Backwards.
He has his own way of doing things, but nothing's funnier than a face plant. I know that. Just wanted to work it out with him,
And the episode is so interesting to me too, because Val is tested constantly during this season. She's brought to her wit's end relentlessly, but we rarely see her break the way that she does in this episode. There's something comes up, something happens in her that she uncorks. She punches Paulie G in the stomach. She would never do that. She is so cognizant of how she's coming off and making sure everyone looks professional and that she looks professional, but she breaks. What was it about that moment that after all these humiliations that she goes through, this is the thing that finally breaks her?
Well, this is where in front of Paulie G and, the first AD on the set and the reality cameras. She has to go through a metal detector, which goes off because it's on a heightened sensitivity, and she has a metal rod in her back. And okay. But then Jane wants to know what, tell me about that. And she just tells the story of she was field hockey team and had to have that surgery, so she couldn't play, but she was part of the team, did everything. And then as she's just like, completing the information, just, here's everything I know about, the rod in my back and field hockey team, without thinking about it, talks about, and then there was, the team picked photo, they wouldn't let me be in it. And it just completely catches her off guard that there's that much hurt and emotion around that for however old she was at the time, like 13-year-old Valerie, who, because she's not 13 anymore, I mean, that was the last time or probably not, that she was going to like feel bad about something, you know what I mean? And it really catches her off guard. So there's some of that is just still in there, but also she's trying so hard to make Paulie G say, that was good, we've got it, to the point where he's just not responding. All right, I'll fall back. Jimmy said fall backward, I'll do that. And it looks like she got hurt. She's okay, but I think it scared her, and then says, what do you think, that last one? And he says, I like the first one.
Such a jackass.
And he makes a joke, like it was just a joke. Okay, what is that rod so far up your ass?
You have to go all the way up your ass too, I think is what he says.
And she snaps. I mean, she just tries to let it go, and then nope, and hauls off and punches him hard in the stomach. I mean, she got violent.
Yeah.
Part of me wanted to address that this season. Like, there was a thing written where she is so mortified, especially after, like, feeling bad about, I committed abuse on a set. Like, if he wanted to file a complaint, looking back, he could have.
Yeah.
Really, and taking all the blame for that. But, we know that she just, like, hit her wall.
Mm-hmm.
And you're kind of thrilled to see her just finally just haul off and hit him so hard that after all the pizza and beer he's had and tequila shots or whatever he's been doing, he just vomits. And then that makes Valerie vomit, of course. Okay, yeah, I think that was the one, right, Paulie? That was a good one.
I like the first one.
Then why'd I do all those other takes?
Because you like throwing yourself on the ground?
Could have really hurt myself.
Fucking relax. It was a joke. Oh, what? That rod in your back go all the way up your ass?
All right, well.
Fuck! What the fuck? That fucking camera off
The
me!
cameras! Get them out! Oh! Go away.
But that night, I have to say, was the only night where I had a huge disagreement with Michael Patrick King. Huge. And because he said, you keep turning away from the cameras when you vomit. We're not getting it on camera. And I just said, right. I mean, of course not. Like, no one wants to see that. That's too far.
Literally, we don't need to see that.
Yeah, exactly. And he said, and I said, it's not necessary. We just need to know it happened. And he said, no, we need to see it. And I said, absolutely not. I don't agree at all. And he said, well, we need to see it. So, okay. But my instincts I'm turning away every time, even though I had agreed to vomit on camera, but I'm in the moment, and then these instincts for protecting an audience come in, and I just turn away. And he comes back and says, "You're still turning away." And I said, Stop it. Now it's abuse. Now, like, you're a sadist. I snapped. And and he sent Dan in to talk to me. Now, how did that, I don't even know how that went.
Well, I went to talk to you. I don't know how it went. Because we did.
Well,
we
you were
chatted.
there.
We took a break. I was there the whole time. But this is what I'm talking about, though, and also about the layers of reality that are both in real life, but also in what's been laid down in a scene like that has to do with the buildup. I mean, Lisa and Michael had an issue that day in terms of like what felt instinctually right to you and what you just did not want to do. Like, I'm not vomiting. I can't. I'm not doing it. And he was like, you have to do it. It has to be forward or it doesn't work.
Right. He wasn't even coaxing me. He was just like, you have. And he was right. Of course. He was 100% right. Because that scene, if you don't see her, it's so everything the show's about.
Yes.
I mean,
Yes.
that is not a dignified look. And that's what it's about. So, Dan, but I don't know what you said to me.
I have no idea of what I've said to you or whether it made a difference.
Well, it did, because then I did it.
There you go.
I know. Yeah, I used my wily ways and my
No,
reverse
you weren't
psychology.
wily. You weren't wily, but I don't even know what you thought. Like, what did you think? Like, why not do one where you're facing? Why not? I don't even know. What were you thinking?
I remember at one moment I was thinking, oh shit. Like, what if this escalates to a point where we're at a standstill and we're not going to actually get it? Then there was a moment where I was like, oh, I don't want to piss off Michael, but Lisa's my partner and Lisa's an actress and I'm an actor. So like maybe we come at it that way. And I remember being in your trailer and you were pacing. I do remember that. And we were talking.
No, it wasn't in my trailer. We were on the set. He sent you over to talk to me on set.
He did? I remember. Well, maybe I was in your trailer before you did the
Where
scene.
was I going? I was in a Cupcake.
That's true.
Yeah, but didn't you have a thing that it pulled off of you and
I did come off at one point to do something, but not in that. Because Lance is waiting, and Lance is also, I'm getting nauseous just having the stuff in my mouth every take.
Yeah.
I mean, how many takes were there? How many takes of that did you have to do?
Well, maybe 5.
Oof.
But that's a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a lot, and he had to eat pizza each time. He was drinking stuff and eating pizza each time.
And he had to have the stuff that, your brain tells you it's meant to look like vomit. And so, ugh.
I mean, in terms
But
of...
wait, but Dan didn't answer because I cut him off.
Oh, yeah, it's true, Dan.
We argued over where it happened, and who cares?
Correct. I don't remember because we spent a lot of time in your trailer, so I'm conflating 100 different opportunities. But
Conflator.
Right?
Don't get off the subject.
I remember feeling stressed and I remember feeling protective of you, but I
Yeah.
also remember trying to find a way to get you to a point where you could see it in terms of options.
Yeah.
In terms of, look,
Yeah.
this may wind up a situation where you're 100% right.
Yeah.
But let's just make sure we have the option
Yes.
when we're done.
Smart.
And
Yeah.
and ultimately that was important. But I just feel like it's so interesting in terms of everything else. Like a tiny little thing going back. This episode is so brilliantly written. You guys laid out the story of this episode so brilliantly because the very fact of you, surprisingly, Valerie doesn't wear her inner child on her very, very often. It doesn't expose these sort of things in her life very often without the fact that this field hockey thing comes up and catches her off guard. And the emotions around that and the steel rod, by the way, to this day, it's like one of the most touching and heart-wrenching moments in an episode that's going to wind up with a double vomit with a cupcake suit. Like, you can't even believe that's in the same episode. But all of it is important in terms of the state of Valerie Cherish by the time she gets in that suit and he is being so abusive towards her. All of it is important. All of it leads to that moment. And similarly, for you, all of it led to that moment with Michael, where you're like,
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure the line got blurred for me, like being Valerie and what's happening. And Michael's like, no, you have to.
I'm just going back. This is a small thing. I don't want to make too much of it, but the notion of Valerie going to Jimmy Burrows' role in season 1 and season 2, and in the series in general, is so interesting. He's so beloved by you, beloved by Michael, but Valerie looks at him as this unbelievably grounding, wise. I mean, obviously she doesn't take his advice.
Yeah.
But
I mean, she knows that he is, he is the Zeus, the Mount Olympus of television comedy. So, if he's on board, if he says something, if you're seen together, any of it is just a huge endorsement of the show, and he ends up also being the only person who's telling her the truth.
Mm-hmm.
Or that he's got information and he's sharing it. And it's something that she needs to know, whether it makes her feel good or not, but he's not a bullshitter. He's not bullshitting. He's not manipulating, he's just the truth teller.
he's the truth teller.
Yeah.
Always.
Because
Always.
when she doesn't need that truth, like it doesn't serve her enough, then she discounts it. Jimmy, sweet, doesn't know,
Yeah. Because she knows what she wants. She knows what she wants to hear also.
Yeah, I mean,
But-
she's like quick to invalidate him in her mind if she needs to.
But listen, it leads us to season 2, which is like an episode that we really want to talk about, which is the finale of season 2. I'm fascinated by why she, in the lobby of the Emmys, tells Jimmy Burrows Mark isn't coming.
Right, because he tells the truth. And he's been around, and he's successful, and he's getting a Lifetime Achievement Award, and he's won so many Emmys that, they maybe had to strengthen the foundation of his house, just to carry the weight of all of them, right? So that's why. I think that's why she's telling him. To hear him say, how dare your husband not support you on a night like this? It's the most important thing. That's not what he said.
No.
He said, it's great. I do hope you win. And it's a great night. But
it's one night. It's
one night. You got to hold on to the other stuff.
He really, really cares for her, which I find fascinating because there's a version of a person like Jimmy Burrows who could be exasperated or irritated and completely dismissive of a person like Val. But he seems to really care for her.
Yeah, maybe, yeah. He might. And I think he does. He also just tells the truth.
Yeah.
Because what does he have to lose? Nothing.
Yeah, true.
Do you know what I mean? He's at a point in his career where he doesn't have to manipulate anyone or lie or he just says, if he's saying it, then you have the information and now it's up to you.
Mm-hmm.
And that's who he is.
I gotta run. I gotta find my wife.
Oh, Mark didn't come.
Mark, who's Mark? Oh, your husband.
Yeah. Didn't show. Just threatened by my success. Because we've been having some problems, and but he should still understand that this is important to me, right? It's important.
Yeah, it's important, but it's not as important as that. You hear me? This is one night. A great night,
Yeah.
but only one night.
Yeah.
Hope you win, you deserve it.
Thank you.
And if you do win, hold on to that Emmy and everything else.
I think he cares about her, and I think it's really useful to the audience that there be someone in the world of show business with that kind of clout who cares about her. I think there's a real, it serves the show. It serves the series. Like, she keeps being able to go back to him, and he keeps being somebody in her life that she turns to, yes, for the truth, but he also, at least he seems like he cares about her, and I think that it triggers something in the audience. I think it's lovely, that sort of almost paternal relationship.
Well, you know what? I mean, if telling the truth is caring.
Yeah.
I mean, if someone's just going to say, yeah, screw your husband, who cares? Yeah, you're right. You're right. Yeah. How dare he not be here? Like, because that's what they want to hear. That's someone who doesn't care enough to tell you the truth.
Right.
And by the way, sometimes it's not, the relationship doesn't merit the truth. Do you know what I mean? If you don't know someone really well, then, it's kind of, you don't know the whole story, and then maybe it's none of your business. But
Right.
But I think it shows a lot of caring to tell someone the truth, whatever your relationship is with them.
And I'm glad that we're talking about this episode because, again, rewatching everything recently and rewatching that season 2 finale, I was immediately transported back to a decade ago when I first watched it, and just this visceral, astonished reaction I had when you leave the Emmys and the camera changes and the focus changes, and we're now no longer being followed by the reality cameras, but we're seeing Val out in real life with steady cams, and it was just such a wild thing to witness as a fan of the show. And I'm curious where that idea came from to finish that season without the reality cameras to make that dramatic shift.
Michael Patrick King.
Okay.
Is where it came from. Yeah, because we were talking about the Emmys and would Val leave the Emmys to go to the hospital to see Mickey? And I said 100% yes. Because I remembered when my son broke his arm we were in the south of France visiting, my in-laws, and he had to have surgery and go to the hospital. And because I don't speak French, my husband went with him, and I was with my in-laws. And the next morning, my mother-in-law drove me to the hospital, and I could just stay there all day with my son. There was no place on earth I wanted to be. And not being with him was utter torture. And yes, that's my son. But when you care about someone, you need to be with them, right? And it just felt like Valerie doesn't have a kid, and she has a husband, and she has Mickey.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Mark, it's me. I got your text. So how is he? Please call me back.
Miracle. No, the miracle I'm talking about is the rain. That's right. It is raining outside.
It's me again. Just thought you might pick up. I'm worried sick. Okay, please call me. I don't know what to do.
And I'm Adam too.
From Orange is the New Black and The Blacklist, please welcome Taylor Schilling and James Spader.
He collapsed. He's at the hospital. He wasn't looking good. His nose was bleeding. She doesn't have any knowledge of medicine or anything. She doesn't know. He could, something bad, really bad is happening, and I have to be there. He can't die and I won't be there. No,
So the idea, which was so, I remember Michael being so both excited and terrified by this idea. Like, we're going to take a very big swing, and it's either going to work or it's not going to work, but we have to try it. So it grew out of that idea that, would Valerie really leave the Emmys? And the answer is yes.
Yes, I could just easily justify it. Yeah. But then if she leaves, what happens?
Right.
Does Jane, we were trying to figure, what's the strategy? How does Jane leave with her and follow her to the hospital, I guess? And then that's how we see her at the hospital. And Michael just went, what if she leaves the cameras?
Yeah, what if she leaves the cameras?
And I actually went, oh, I don't know. The show is her with reality cameras. He said, right, but what if there are no reality cameras? We shoot at traditional coverage. And I'm just going, I don't know. Oh, I don't know. I don't know. And you know, John Rigi and Amy Harris were in the room for season 2. And they went, oh, yes. Yes, yes. John Rigi was a big yes. And so we went for it. And then I have to say, when we saw the episode, like originally Michael was like, okay, and then it's a movie with a score, with, you know, it's like just romantic, like it's a movie and a score. And first thing noticing is the music doesn't work at all. So that had to get out.
We scored it. Yeah.
Yeah. And then Valerie was talking too much. So pulled out a lot of unnecessary dialogue, because the truth is she's quieter. Like there's no camera.
Mm-hmm.
There's not a ton to say in the situation. Yeah. And so no, those were interesting things to learn too.
It was so moving, like the rain and the Uber and being locked out of your phone. Valerie's locked out of her phone, and she looks out that window like, how is anyone going to help me? Like, how am I going to get to where I need to go? Who's going to help me?
Yeah.
And then
well, Michael is brilliant at finding obstacles and hurdles. And
yes.
I mean.
Yes.
Yeah.
100%. I mean, everywhere, at every turn. And then, oh God. And then Mark showing up with the coffees and being so taken aback when he sees you there. There's so much said. I'm glad you said that about there's so little dialogue in this last 8
it wasn't
minutes.
necessary. Yeah.
It's
it was
so
clear.
moving. It's fabulous.
Be that hair.
Well. Well.
Val. You came. I mean, I sent you that text, but I never expected you to. There you are. I made a Starbucks run, and if I'd known that you were here, I would have brought you something.
Red, this is you. I think this is you.
Yeah, it's Sean Hayes, so yeah, doing my category.
Sean Hayes.
Good evening. I'm here tonight to present Outstanding Supporting Actress in a Comedy Series, an award that I've won myself.
Well, Lisa, Dan has done this really fun thing where he's crafted a series of questions that we've been asking everyone who's come on to chat with us about the comeback.
Okay.
So we want to, and we know that you have to remember, we want to try to ask at least one each first. So one of my favorites is there a moment from your own life that you would consider a very Val moment? Is there a Valerie Cherish moment from your own life?
I mean, sure. I wish I had a specific example. I had one and it's gone. I'm sorry.
Oh, it's okay.
That's not fun. That's not good. But I mean, the other thing is always, I'll say something and then I clearly missed it's like a Valerie thing. Like I was hearing what I wanted to hear.
Right.
Or someone, it's when you replay a moment and I'm wondering, oh, was that person being mean? Oh, of course they were being mean, and I just wouldn't have it, just.
It's a good adaptive strategy, by the way, that Valerie's got a lot of adaptive strategies that we all could use in our real lives, I think. The narrative sometimes needs to be what serves you.
Yeah. I mean, sometimes I just address the truth that, I think I know what it is. I had a meeting early on in my career with an agent, and the agent said something so inappropriate. because he was just like, what did I didn't count for anything, you know? And he just said, you know, it's funny. I can remember my first car, and I can't remember the first girl I slept with. And I wasn't even taking in just how inappropriate that was, or I was, but I just like drilled down to facts and said, well, sure. I mean, you spent a lot more time inside your first car.
That's so good.
And I wasn't even thinking of what the dig was. I just said, yeah, well, probably spent a lot more time inside your first car. And he went, oh, that's great. Did like Robin Schiff write that? And I just said, no.
I just said it.
Who said that? And it's like, I did it. I just said it. Didn't you recognize my voice?
It's amazing.
Like, yeah. Not popular with business types.
It's too funny. I love it. This one's maybe easier or hard. If of all the roles on the comeback every season, first 1 and 2,
Yeah.
if you couldn't be playing Valerie, is there a role that would be intriguing to play in a fantasy world?
God. Yeah, all of them. Paulie G, Tom Peterman, for sure.
I said Paulie G also.
Yeah. Jane.
I would love to play Juna. I think that'd be really fun to play Baby Girl.
Me? No, I don't think that's a role I could never play. I'm just not adorable. Yeah.
Yes, you are.
No, I'm not.
Your haircut is top notch. I'm going crazy. I love it so much.
Yeah, but I mean, I'm not. Yeah.
No, Juna is a very specific flavor.
I wish I could.
Mullen.
No, Mullen's phenomenal. Mullen is
She just is that kind of light and love in her life. And so
that's also in that last episode, the scene, that's a big, important Juna scene at her party. And Mark's not there.
Yeah.
And she's also letting her know how hurt she was. And I feel like you don't see things, Valerie, like, you know, seeing red made up a lot of stuff. It made me feel bad, and you're in it. It looks like an endorsement.
Mm-hmm.
And it just feels really bad. And Valerie's not like, I'm sorry. Like all she can think to say is, okay, then I'm sorry.
Yeah.
And then, oh, okay. That is okay. I don't know. Oh, yeah, I loved that scene. Just showing how
me
much
too.
Valerie cannot address.
Well, we're excited because also in that same episode, Kellen Lutz, Chris, shows up, and we're talking to him next week. And,
oh, wow.
Which is great. But just the flavor of what he does to Valerie and for Valerie, and it's just such an interesting color that we don't see before that. But I just want to say early on in this conversation, you said something that was so revelatory, I think. When you were saying that, just going back and just as a recap, that the Cupcake, the idea that there be more physical comedy or that Valerie get to do more in Room and Board was a mandate of the reality show, much more than Valerie requiring it.
Yeah, she's not asking.
It's so fascinating, though, because it really speaks to why Paulie G was so enraged. The idea that reality is now dictating what he can write and what he should write is a valid complaint. Of course, his way of dealing with it is totally dysfunctional.
Yeah.
But it's a valid complaint that reality is dictating what winds up on the page. And the notion of the threats to the creative process that are coming from these trends is something that we wind up dealing with in every season. And I'm really glad that you said that.
You know, what's also true is, I mean, especially back then, writers can get mad at actors who aren't selling the line that they wrote that worked so well in the writer's room. And they know it's funny if it's delivered the right way, and the actor won't do it. You know what I mean? It's like, I don't know what they think it is. And they just get mad that they're not making them look good. And, or just not trying hard enough.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so that I think is a real tension sometimes.
It totally.
And I cannot wait, because I just got the screeners for season 3. I've not watched them yet, but I cannot wait to see how all of these things that we're talking about manifest in the world of 2026 TV. I cannot wait to see the comeback in today's world. I'm so excited.
Oh, good. How many did you get?
The first 4.
Okay.
So I'll be diving into those.
Great.
But in the meantime, Lisa, thank you so much for doing this with us. It's been so much fun chatting with you about all these things.
Oh, thank you. I'm so happy about this podcast. Thanks. And thank God you have an editor.
It was all great material.
You could have told us at any point. You
Yeah.
could have told us at any point. You
Jane,
wanted to
Jane?
stop.
No, because I just blah, 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 and then use what you think is you need.
It's all good.
It's all good. This was so much fun. This was a blast. Thanks so much, Lisa.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks, Dan. Thanks, Kevin.
Oh my God, Kevin, that was so fun. That was so great.
I'm just like grinning from ear to ear. It was so much fun to talk to Lisa. She gave us such good stories. That one that she told about her little conflict with Michael Patrick King, that was so interesting to me.
Yeah, well, I having been there, I hadn't thought about it in a very long time, and it was really good to go back and she really held my feet to the fire there to try to figure out what it was that I said to her. But I remember that being a moment where she really needed a little bit of a deep breath and some perspective, and went back in there and agreed to sort of turn her face as best she could to do the double vomit. But I also love the fact that every time I talk to Lisa, and we talk all the time, there's always something that I, certainly about the comeback, that I had never known before or I hadn't remembered. And from her point of view, it's as one of the creators of the show and as one of the writers of the show, and clearly the star of the show, she comes from a perspective that's so specific and great. And I love that. I love that detail, really, about how important it was to the reality show of season 1 that she say more on Room and Board, how much they were impacting it, and also how much she's talked about how Jimmy Burrows was a truth teller for her. Whether Valerie wanted to hear the truth or not is different, but the fact that on this series, he's always been the truth teller.
It's true. The whole thing was such a blast. And if you were watching and listening, hit the comments. Let us know what you thought. What was your favorite part of the conversation? What's your favorite part of the comeback? Let us know. We love to hear from you. And as always, please subscribe to us on YouTube at the Obsessed channel. Follow us wherever you get your podcasts. If you think I'm funny in the least bit, please subscribe to my Substack at obsessed.substack.com. Thank you to our producers, Devin Rodgerino and Rachel Passer. And Dan, thank you.
Thank you, Kevin, always. And thanks to the Daily Beast, to thank Obsessed, thank you, thank Rachel for letting us have this opportunity to rewatch seasons 1 and season 2 of The Comeback.
Yes. All right. We'll see you next time.